Welcome back to Comic Book Nation, the only show that does it all for geek culture and the official podcast of Comic. With me today are my co-hosts, Mr. Matthew Aguilar, Janelle Wheeler, and back with us again, Mr. Evan Valentine. What's up, everybody?
Hello, good morning.
And we are proud to say that today, this episode is sponsored by Global Comics. Global Comics gives you 100,000 comics basically for the price of one, with memberships at $6.99 per month. It is the Netflix of comics, offering you classics, hidden gems, and now also hundreds of DC titles available. What you don't get in the subscription, you could also buy and own forever if you love a book. And there are member exclusive discounts being offered right now, especially in the DC title section, with Superman comics and Batman comics both getting crazy markdowns right now, including one of our favorites, Absolute Batman. You can get every issue of Absolute Batman right now for just 99 cents on Global Comics. So go check that out. But that's not all. Every week, we're going to be highlighting something for the service that goes along with this show in Matt's pick of the week. So, Matt, you're up. What do we got this week?
Hey. Well, if we're gonna be all synergistic here, we just had an amazing Superman movie that I adore. Also, Peep, the Superman figure right in the background. Got him all displayed. He's nice. And to go with that, if you watch James Gunn's Superman, you know that it drew plenty of inspiration from Grant Morrison's All-Star Superman. And All-Star Superman right now is actually one of the books you can get as part of the Gold program on Global Comics. All-Star Superman, look, there's so many ideas in there that I think we're going to see play out over the course of, now we know that Man of Tomorrow is coming. We're going to see more things drawn from that. But the general feel, the Silver Age ideas, and also some of the real like character-rich stuff, it's a one-stop shop. All-Star Superman is one of those books that I will hand to anyone and go, read this. You don't have to be a Superman fan. I think, honestly, if you're not a Superman fan, it's actually one of the books that you can hand to people so they can kind of get the concepts and see why this character is so cool. There's a couple books I have in my repertoire for that, but All-Star Superman is absolutely one of those. I don't know if Janelle's read that book, and I think we actually need to do like a re-deep dive. We need to go back in and do All-Star Superman because like it's been a minute. But yes, excellent book. Also, as Kofi mentioned, Summer of Superman is actually one of the collections you can go to right now, and there are some fantastic runs. Luther for Tomorrow. There's some great books in here that you can check out for Superman. Also, I do want to highlight that one of my favorites and one of Kofi's favorites, Something is Killing the Children, is also available as part of Gold, which is fantastic. You can also get some great Green Lantern books. We got Lanterns coming up. All of that stuff is there. So very excited for that. But yes, definitely check out All-Star Superman if you have had the chance.
And that is Global Comics, Global and COMIX for our audio listeners. That's the IX at the end of comics. Go there, check it out, get yourself a subscription because we will be reading along for the next few weeks, and we'd love to have you join us. All right, let's get into the show. This week, we are going to be talking about the return of Gen V, the Boys spinoff show that had no business being as good as it was in season one, and we'll talk about where season two starts off. We're also going to do, as a follow-up to our fall TV preview, we're going to be doing the fall movie preview. There's a couple little pictures coming out this season that we need to keep an eye on, so we're going to be talking about those. Also, I went to go see the movie Him. Did I even put this in here? I didn't. But I'm going to be, I did. It's going to be part of our fall movie preview. So we're going to talk about the movie Him, which, it's a funny stories to talk about. So we're going to get into that.
I'm excited.
And we got TV to talk about. Peacemaker's still going on. Alien Earth is still going on. We read some comics this week. There's a lot to do. Let's get into it. First up, though, geek news.
Some geek
Janelle,
news.
What's going on the DC side?
Yes, sir. Well, DC, we got a little update from the red carpet at the Emmys. It was from Matt Reeves, and he is very excited to say that they are starting up production. They're getting their staff aligned, and they wrote a very solid script. It took them a long time to get this second one going because he wanted to make sure they had a very, very strong script, and he feels that they do, which means they are moving on to working on it. He said he was very excited to pass on the script to Robert Pattinson. And he said he was going to be doing something that's never been done. I feel like that's something they always said. I have to put it in air quotes. It's never been done before. But his direct quote was, talking about Pattinson, I thought that he would really like it because of things that it does for his character, for Batman and for Bruce, I think has never been done before in this way. So that's good to hear. And I'm actually really happy that it has taken its time to get going, because I think it was really important that they had a super strong script and they gave time, for the Penguin to really have its moment to shine. A lot of these actors are confirmed to come back. The only one I think that has not been confirmed yet has been Zoe Kravitz returning as Catwoman. So there's a lot to look forward to. And I love that we're getting kind of mentions of it on red carpets and things like that. What are you guys feeling about this?
I'm interested in the comments. The chat is saying, we're getting a question from Yash over on YouTube if people are still interested in this or if it's been too long, which I think is an excellent topic we are going to introduce over here in real time on the Comicbook.com forum. So, head over there. We can argue about that after this. But for right now, I don't think you need Zoe Kravitz back. We know Colin Farrell isn't coming back. I don't think you need to keep going with the exact same stuff we got in the first Batman. Like, I wouldn't mind kind of shifting Batman into some new stuff, into some new sets of characters that he meets as he's evolving along the way. Like, these other characters can be out there in the aether. We know they're kind of still out there.
So wait, is our article wrong? Because it says that Colin Farrell has been confirmed.
Oh, is he? Is he been confirmed?
Colin Farrell is it. He read the
okay. See, I'm backwards. Yeah, okay. So I'm backwards.
But still, at least we get him. You're right. We don't need Catwoman.
Oh, is it Milioti that's not coming in? Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. I had that flip. It's Milioti.
The script was already too far.
Throw out everything my dumb ass said. All right. So yes, Colin Farrell's coming back, so that'll be a nice continuation. But I don't need to continue all the elements. I don't need Zoe Kravitz back. I don't need every element of the first movie to be back for the second one. I think we can evolve this and kind of move along. Mm-hmm. I'm interested in the whole villain thing about because I think there's been rumblings he's doing something that's like a villain that's never been done in live action. I would be interested to see something like a Poison Ivy. Something kind of environmental, about that.
She's been done
in live action. Oh God!
I mean, I'm
really not striking out on Batman today.
I know, not great. I'm not holding her up.
I'm gonna tell you my true feelings, man.
She has been done.
IDGAF, get this movie here or don't. At this point, I like the Batman, but y'all have made this such a mess, and there's so much other content I have to care about. Show me a compelling Batman trailer before I see a compelling Clayface trailer, or you might be out of here.
Oh, you know who it needs to be? There's one person there's one for sure they haven't done in live action. We need Scarface. You imagine?
I would take Scarface.
Yes. I want Scarface
holding the puppet.
Yeah, and Mr. Scarface would be good.
Come on.
I want to see him beat up the ventriloquist too.
At least
he just wails on the ventriloquist.
At least as a cameo. I think that one of the things I found really interesting about what Reeves said was that the new villain or villains who haven't been done before will have a tie to Bruce Wayne in his past, which immediately has me thinking of two distinct big threats to Gotham City in the past. One is Hush. I think Thomas Elliott has a good backstory. He has a good visual as well as the Hush storyline is so legendary at this point. But also the one that I'm hoping for is the Court of Owls. I think the Court of Owls would work exceptionally well, especially as they would really work in more of a realistic sense in this more realistic world of Gotham City as kind of the Illuminati background. There's also the personal element with Scott Snyder's run originally introducing them that kind of introduced Bruce's maybe brother into that as well, which is an element that they could bring in. But the Court of Owls is just such a striking, like their visual is so simplistic and amazing, and they would work really well with everything that Reeves has kind of set up. So I'm pulling for the Court of Owls myself. I'm hoping that they show up.
Would be great because they've been used a lot, especially like in the video game side, but they've not been used in like the, and even the shows touched on them, right? Then like they've been used a little bit. Yeah. So like but they've not been used in movie live action. And it's like at this point, there's such a popular, like such kind of a not glaring oversight. They just haven't had a chance to get to them. I will say this makes me, so there's two things for me. One, I love that idea. I actually love both of those ideas. But also there was a character that came to mind when you're talking about like links to Bruce and like links to things. And I went, that won't happen in Matt Reeves. And it made me actually was one of those things where like, I'm actually glad we have two versions here. Batman is one of those characters, like he's got such a deep bench of characters. Like there's actually enough room for two different toy boxes, so to speak. And like, I was thinking like, it'd be awesome if we got Ghostmaker. And we'll never get Ghostmaker in a Matt Reeves movie. But would we get him in a James Gunn Batman? Hell yeah. There's absolutely a place where James Gunn does a Ghostmaker. Like, I don't think it'll fit Matt Reeves. I don't think he would do it. It would be awesome if he did. But like, I just think like that character's a little loud for him, even when he like, because he finds a starting point of some of these characters and that kind of, brings realistic elements. And you can do that with Ghostmaker. I just don't think like he would play into that. But he has links to Bruce all the way if you read The Night. And I would love to see Gunn. I actually like that. Like there's things like we could get the designer in James Gunn's Batman DC universe.
Oh yeah.
I don't see us getting that in Matt Reeves. There's cool characters. I like that we have two playstyles. I also will say I kind of disagree on I know I'll be the outlier. I really like Catwoman is kind of, I don't know, is like to me pretty essential as far as the just overall Batman dynamic. And so to have her already in the universe and then just to like, we ain't touching that story is odd to me. That would stick out like a sore thumb. I don't know. It was also kind of a linchpin of the first movie, that relationship, and also like what she brought to the whole detective thing and like infiltrating this. I don't know. It just would feel weird if she just like dropped off the face of the planet and then we went and did all this other stuff. I would be bummed because I really liked her as Catwoman.
That was a lot of stumping for Zoe Kravitz Catwoman. I
liked her. I like her as Catwoman.
I just zoned out there for a minute. I was like, what? All right. Okay. So I didn't expect that. You never know when the grenades would be in this show, but here we are. Yeah, I mean, I could take it or leave it. I thought she was okay as Catwoman. Like, I think Anne Hathaway and Michelle Pfeiffer are still up there for me.
Underrated.
Yeah, underrated. Yeah. Grossly underrated Catwoman for sure. So yeah, but I'm kind of interested. I'm just interested in the story. The Court of Owls would be a fit for Matt Reeves' world. Obviously you wouldn't have undead talons and all that stuff. We would just have assassins and stuff. I think it would be a good timely story for like right now about the secret hand of these wealthy elites possibly controlling the direction of the world of Gotham, yeah, and doing that whole kind of thing, and Batman figuring out like it'd also be a kind of an interesting, Reeves could get deep on like class stuff. Where does Bruce Wayne's obligation kind of fall in this as this wealthy kid who's part of that power elite versus Batman who's supposed to be kind of bringing order to Gotham? What does that mean? So there's a lot they could do there. It could also be a very long and intricate and more political kind of mystery thriller type story than people are probably used to for a comic book movie. But I think that at the very least, if Reeves thinks that this is like go out with a bang, you know what I'm saying? Like just do the movie you want to do. I think we're in that era in general. Just like make the movie you want to make, success, fail, whatever it's going to be, and just swing for the fences with it and let us deal with it after that. But I mean, it's hard to kind of at this point for me to be like, oh, I'm still just itching. I'm not not that Dave Chappelle meme, you know. Y'all got some more of that Batman? I'm like, this time has moved on, so you know, it is what it is. It
Always love a
is
good Dave
what it
Chappelle
is.
reference.
Yeah.
With the 5 fingers. Say the face. Slap.
All right. So moving right along, that was DC, but we had some Marvel news, and I can only say, Matt, about this Marvel news. What the helly?
I was also, what a segue. What did the 5 fingers say to the face? Slap. Marvel. Here we go. We're gonna talk Doomsday. This thing, that's a killer thing. So evidently this film's wrapped, man. Hey, it's wrapping soon.
How,
evidently.
Sway?
So an update from on X, there was a member of the crew of Avengers Doomsday who shared that, hey, they got a wrap gift for the movie, and people were like, wait, what? Like, really? We're already like wrapping principal photography, and they actually shared the artwork. It was artwork of Dr. Doom. And typically, you know, when you get a wrap gift, that does mean like, hey, we're either on like the last week of shooting or the last day. Sometimes it's even like after shooting has wrapped. I know like Witcher gifts went out a little bit after that. So either way, the main part of shooting is pretty much done. And so compared to something like Avengers Infinity War, which took a whole 6 months to be in this same production, and the Russos were also in charge of that, having what was this one comes in with the 2 months added, it comes in at about 3. It's probably about 3 months, 3 or 4 months total time shooting here, because I know they did the big chair reveal earlier this year, but that was just, they had literally were just beginning. So it's a much shorter amount of time, and this is supposedly a very big movie, so it has gotten people talking. You know, there's a couple ways to look at this. It's like maybe you know, they ironed out the kinks. What really threw, you know, from the last time they shot the movie, but the other thing that kind of threw a wrinkle in that was previous comments had hinted that Rebecca Romijn, I believe, had said essentially like, hey, like they're still working on the script and they're that thing's not done. And there have been comments like Kevin Feige had even kind of talked about, yeah, you know, we're still working on things. So it's crazy that like a not finished script, and then you pulled all this together and now we're good. Now, obviously they're going to probably do reshoots. They're probably going to, that doesn't mean they can't go back and do more. But just for like that bulk thing to already be done, I don't know. Part of me is like, that's impressive. The other part of some people are kind of like, that's maybe concerning. I don't know. Where do you guys kind of sit on that? Is there anything to really worry about here? Is there smoke? Is this just everything a big nothing burger?
Worry about. There is everything to worry about. I mean, you know, wrap presents are hard to judge because it could be like one team's wrap.
Right.
It could be an actor's wrap or a crew member's wrap for them, like their portion of the film is done. So it's always hard to interpret that. But yeah, calling things complete is interesting for this movie. Obviously, they've been shooting it for a minute now. I think they've been doing more and working in more teams than we probably know. Right. Spread out, you know, doing, because I'm sure this movie is going to be like Infinity War in terms of there's probably going to be very little time where we need everybody together. It's going to be a series of like individual little movies kind of strung together that we go back and forth between what's happening in here, or it's just really a Robert Downey Jr. Doom movie with whatever scene he steps into and whoever's there before he does something and probably moves on. So in that sense, yeah, there will just be waves of people coming in for those specific parts and then kind of moving out. So, I mean, all of this just feels like we're back at the beginning of phase 2, where things were kind of loosey-goosey, running gun, Iron Man 3 to Thor 2, or even in starting around Iron Man 2, where it was this thing where it was like, even the first Avengers movie, like scripts were getting done on the fly. Like we were just throwing these things together, figuring out the tones, figuring out like even how to make all these characters fit together on screen. Like this was all done like and made up along the way. Like we just had Gunn come up with a whole Infinity Stones thing that we all thought was like the master reveal of Thor: The Dark World. And he was like, no, they came to me and were like, here's a napkin, figure this out. And he was like, I wrote that whole monologue thing in like a minute and was like, yes, this is the place of the Infinity Stone. So like it feels like we're back there, and at this point, I'm beginning to kind of like go back and question. Marvel's done this funny thing where I think they had this impression at the end of the Infinity Saga around Endgame of who they were that was so strong that you forget like the real mess of all this. And I've been talking about this for far too long now, and was there for all like the casting madness of Phase 1 and like all finding the Captain America, finding the Thor, and all of that. When ScarJo was Black Widow instead of Emily Blunt, and like all this stuff. So I know that this has been the reality all along, but you would think we'd have it a little bit more secure. But this whole thing has been a mess. So I'm absolutely optimistic that the run and gun Marvel way could actually still work out. Like we still could get some gold out of this. It's just not guaranteed by any stretch of the imagination. And as we're kind of finding out this summer, yeah, it's going to be interesting because this summer box office has proven that like the superhero bubbles kind of burst. Like horror, anime, sci-fi, these other genres are starting to resurge and eat things up again. And so, yeah, man, I don't know. It's just all up in the air. Like it's like, hey, it's the whole world right now. It's like, hey, we'll see. I guess maybe if we make it there, we'll see. Yeah, that's all you can say about Doomsday.
I would say like I'm cautiously optimistic about the movie. I to this day I still think Infinity War is a miracle. I have no idea how all of the different moving pieces in that movie were, and this is like Doomsday has so many moving pieces, you know, like 2 Avengers teams, Fantastic Four, the X-Men, all the characters that don't fall under the Avengers banner, introducing Robert Downey Jr.'s take on Doctor Doom, so many, just a million other things, multiverse stuff. But you know, the Russos have proven me wrong like a lot in the past, so I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt on this. I think that like, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that always is going to make me a little nervous just for how big this movie is, and like especially like how big Secret Wars will most likely be. But you know, we'll see. I'll until I see the movie itself, I'll go into it cautiously optimistic.
Yeah, I think they're going to play. I think the scope of it's going to be played with very well. Like, I honestly think this is going to be a movie where Doom is the protagonist, the one who sees, like, look at what these idiots have done to the multiverse. Somebody's got to step in and handle this. And it's just going, and it's going to be a cleanup movie. It's literally a guy going up and cleaning up all of Marvel's messes. He's like, you know, he's the bag man they called in after Chapek left to spray down the office. And he's just going to go through. We're going to see Kang get his face blown off. We're going to see Cap get his face blown off. Like, in every one of these other Jokers who have been running around messing with the multiverse, we're going to see them get taken out and, like, get, you know, eliminated as Doom. And then, of course, the last 2 Avengers teams will have to try to come together and stop this dude. Screw it all up, probably, because they are B and C teams. And, you know, then Doom will have to pull together a little battle world. So that's what I kind of suspect we'll see. Yeah. And I think you can play with the scope of that. No, you can play with the scope of that. Like, really easy. If you always coming back to one character as the centerpiece, like, yeah, I think you can get away with that. So I think they're going to be smart about how they play it. And I think they're going to play it to the easiest, most fan satisfying meta kind of movie you can do here. But that's just me. Yeah. All right. Anyway, Janelle, anybody else have any thoughts? Because we really know nothing, so we don't have to.
We really don't. I'm very intrigued by everything that you guys are saying about this. And I didn't, when I first read this article, I was just kind of like, I don't know, questionable. But now you've actually built hype in me, so I'm actually really excited coming out of this conversation.
I need everybody to get T-shirts that just say that. You've built hype in me. Yes.
You've built the
Kofi Outlaw. You've built hype in me. I like that. All right. So let's get into our fall. Let's take a quick break. Let's just get the break out of the way. Then we're going to come back. We're going to talk about our fall movie preview. We'll talk about TV and we'll talk about comics. Stay tuned. It's time for sweaters, pumpkin spice, and football. Also, time for some movies that people think might win some Oscars and some of the bigger box office bets for the end of the year. And that sweet, sweet Q4 money. All right, so let's get into it. This is our fall movie preview. As I said, football is part of fall. And so, what better way to kick off the fall movie preview this week than with my review of Him? Him is the new football horror movie, which everybody will best know as being produced by Jordan Peele, because, people, as soon as he slaps his name on it, everybody kind of takes an extra level of interest. The film is actually by director Justin Tipping, who has done the other thing he did was a 2016 movie Kicks, which was all about sneaker culture and a crime caper about a bunch of kids or a group of kids who steal, who get one kid who gets a sneaker stolen and the kind of trajectory that whole thing takes. So he does these kind of urban things with these surrealist crime or like horror influences to them. And Him is very much that. So I would give this movie, I'm going to be honest, like about 2 to 2.5 stars out of 5. This is a very strange movie. At the end, I don't know. I might have taken a micro nap because I wasn't like very locked into this movie, but something happened in like the last third where I honestly think I like blanked out or something like happened in my brain because these two women coming out of the theater, like I was just staring at the credits and they were like coming out, and one lady stopped and she like put her hand on my shoulder. She was like, "Honey," she was like, "Are you also very confused about what you just saw?" And I was like, "Yes." And she was like,
Always a glowing review.
yeah, I was like, okay.
Give him a therapy session.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, all right. No, I think I might have taken a micro nap. Anyway, I've been looking over the ending of the movie, but yeah, it wasn't, it's one of the weirdest for the sake of weird movies I've seen. There's a lot of like just aesthetic symbolism, demonic imagery, this crazy Julia Fox is a weird ass character all unto herself in this movie. She's kind of in this movie and she's kind of just being Julia Fox. All of these scenes, nothing kind of feels real. Everything feels like this weird dream nightmare sequence you're in. Weird things happen. It comes down to this crazy over the top like ending that is just it. Like if you think The Long Walk ending was like took this very kind of literal, straightforward thing and got like crazy surrealist and symbolic at the end. This movie will make you want to jump out the window with just like how like what WTF is going on by the end of this. Yeah, the last shot with the jets and oh my god, it's nuts. So yeah, it's a very weird movie. I don't think it came together to be what Justin Tipping intended it to be, because there is very deep commentary on football culture. It's ties to class, it's ties to race, it's ties to things like slavery and things like that this movie's positing and playing with. You know, what are the role of the athletes, like kids, how do we indoctrinate kids into this stuff from a very young age? It's trying to do all of this, but it is overly lost in the sauce of its own kind of, it thinks it's too smart. You know what I mean? Like it thinks every shot, every symbol is brilliant and symbolic and artistic, and it's just like, right, but this, in a year of great horror movies, this is just not one. But I will say, okay, so that's my beat up on it. I will say Tyreek Withers that kid's a star. He's been steadily doing more and more stuff. If you've not seen his episode of Atlanta, it is one of the best. It's called Rich Wigger, Poor Wigger. It's a great episode of TV. We won't get into it, but he is kind of mixed race, and it's about him because he doesn't look black enough. He can't get a scholarship. It's a hilarious episode of TV. Go watch that. So he's a really good actor. And Marlon Wayans is crazy good in this. Like Marlon Wayans is one of the more underrated actors of his generation, like about how good he is from Requiem to a Dream to this. And so he's really compelling as Isaiah White, the kind of star quarterback who is trying to train this kid, but at the same time can't give up. He has that Brady thing going on. He can't give up the fame. He can't give up the glory and all of that. So he's really good. Tyreek Withers is really good. In the movie, when it's the two of them kind of, you know, old lion, young lion type stuff is good. When it gets into this other stuff, it just, like I said, it loses itself in the sauce. So him is a weird one. You can watch this on streaming, I would say. Like, you can make your own decisions. I'm sure other people will think, so I'm sure it's one of these things that, you know, for some people, it will be brilliant. They'll be like, football, man, it is scary. Like, yeah, like, I get it. Like, and to those of you who walk away like that, you know, congrats. For me, this was just kind of more amateur, like art house horror. Nice budget though, nice budget, and you know, some crisp visuals. All right, let's talk about other things you guys can also weigh in on because I'm tired of talking about him. All right, Gabby's Dollhouse movie's coming out, and
I'm excited.
Ecstatic. She is flipping around in her seat, ecstatic for that movie. It looks crazy. Kristen Wiig looks like she's gonna eat up every scene.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And so, yeah, that one's for the young girls this season. Gabby's Dollhouse. I'm signed up. All girl dads, we're signed up. So, yeah, all right. See you there. Okay. One thing I'm going to be checking out next week, because we didn't have a screening here in Nashville, unfortunately, is the buzz for P.T. Anderson's One Battle After Another has been crazy big. That is the new movie with Leonardo DiCaprio, Tiana Taylor, Benicio del Toro, Sean Penn. And yeah, it's about Leonardo DiCaprio being kind of an ex-revolutionary, and you know, his wife, Tiana Taylor, it got kind of busted up in this thing, and it's a P.T. Anderson movie, so there's a lot more going on than that. But the buzz for this movie has been crazy. This is jumping on to best of the year lists for pretty much everybody who walks out of it and people I trust. So I will be in the theater to see this, and we'll do some Cinema Nation review of One Battle After Another real soon here. If you want to see it, The Strangers Chapter 2. I can't believe they've milked this straight ASS franchise for this long.
Anissa is hyped for this. I'm going to probably have to see this,
and this is
because Anissa like wants it. And I went, The Strangers? It's like, yeah, the first one. I was like, okay, I did not know. I didn't see that coming.
I thought this got buried when they did the prequel. Like when they tried to do like The Strangers, the beginning, I thought that's right. This whole franchise, this franchise off. But
I think
Apparently not.
I think they filmed, like, this is part of a trilogy, and I think they filmed all 3 films at once. I heard nothing but bad things about. I didn't see the first part of this new trilogy or whatever, but like I heard not great things, which is a shame because I really loved whatever the second Strangers movie is. I really loved, and yeah, I have not.
How many of
Pray
those
at
have there
Night.
been? Is this the 4th?
Yes, I
Isn't
want
that
to say it might
nuts?
be the 5th. I
This
think
Oh,
like
God.
they just made so many. It's
I
so
only
easy
ever
to
watched
make
the
movies.
original. Like,
The
yeah. I
original
only
is really
watched the-
fantastic.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Oh, my God. Yeah. So we've had The Strangers Chapter 1 in 2024. That was the first part. The Strangers Pray at Night in
That's part 2.
2018. So, yeah, looks like the 4th one. Yeah, this is the 4th one. And there will be a 5th one next year. Holy free holies. So you like The Strangers Pray at Night?
I do, yeah. It had a certain energy to it that was very, like, it has kind of this like funny 80s aesthetic to it. But also the original The Strangers was really terrifying and good. Like, a lot of people will sometimes say that was one of the scariest movies ever made. And while I don't necessarily agree with that, I think, like, yeah,
Yeah.
it is good.
It's the
It is
concept.
the
You
concept,
can't go, yeah, you can't get a
the home
cabin
invasion.
Airbnb these days without worrying about that. You know what I mean?
That and Barbarian. Yeah, two
Yeah.
amazing never mess with Airbnb movies.
Yeah. So, all right, we don't have to spend too much time. I'm just amazed this is still going on and that it is this much of a franchise. All right. Cool. Another kind of cinema nation thing I want to see is Roofman, that Channing Tatum movie that looks like Kirsten Dunst. Also, what's his name? Peter Dinklage. It has a good little cast, and it's based on a true story about a guy who got out of prison and hid on the roof of a Toys R Us, and then kind of integrated himself into this small town and kind of like falls in love with a girl, and before the heat is on. And Channing Tatum looks like he's really doing his thing in this movie. I always trust anything I see Kirsten Dunst come out of the house to do. So I want to see that. It looks cute. Also on the indie front, and I will be seeing this Monday, so I will be able to talk about it is The Smashing Machine. It looks like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is going to be doing his thing. I know Matt's probably signed up for this one. Yeah, based on the true story of UFC fighter. Oh my God, I'm blanking on his name. Oh my God. Oh, I hate doing a live show sometimes. I'm just blanking on his name. I know his name back and forth.
Mark Kerr.
Mark Kerr, yeah. The Smashing Machine. So him and Emily Blunt coming together to do that movie. You know, those two have a good working chemistry. So I'm looking forward to this movie. And it looks like The Rock is getting back into his acting bag where he needs to be, where he started. And I'm happy about that. So
I love his
all
prosthetic.
right.
Like, he doesn't like look like himself, which is cool.
Yeah, no, his hair, everything. He did a good job in the way he talks and moves, and like when you watch the trailers, like Rock did his thing in this.
Yeah.
Tron Air Ace is going to be a big one. We got to watch.
If there's a screener, I'd love to see that one.
Yeah, no, there's been some people saw it at Comic-Con, and I've heard some mixed things. I've heard some mixed things even about 9 Inch Nails being involved with this movie.
Oh, wow.
So as opposed to like the Daft Punk, I've heard the more kind of lulling, melodic, kind of meditative 9 Inch Nails sound might not be as
like
fitting
loses its energy. Yeah.
as opposed to the
You need
upbeat
electronic
Daft
music. It's a
Punk.
video game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
So in this whole concept of this movie may be really ill-timed for like where we're at. Either it's going to put people off or it's not going to necessarily say enough of the right thing for where we are. I'm worried about that. And so we're going to say, yikes.
Man, we really missed a chance to do a Daft Punk Kendrick Lamar duet for this movie. That would have been killer.
Oh, that would have been cool.
He gave him a shout,
Breaking my heart.
Like he gave him a shout in the biggest beef of the last decade. It's like, man, we could have really had something. I would have gone to see a movie for that. That'd have been a killer. That would have been a killer track. Anyway.
All right. So Oh, somebody says Tron Ares will be the place to get people out to that with that a new Avengers Doomsday trailer. You might be right about that. I mean, that will be a good
wait.
way to get people to the theater. And then you got to sit through some Jared Leto. Not a problem for Jenna Wheeler. Problem for the rest of us.
I just like the tech stuff. You know, I'm a gamer.
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
Here, moving on, and if we can pull up this trailer, this is one I think is going to be a dark horse. The more I see of these trailers, the more I'm like, this is going to be one of those sequels that might outdo the original, which is The Black Phone 2. The Black Phone was a good little indie horror movie. This one's going all out. Like, they're just doing Freddy Krueger, and they're just like, we don't care. We're doing Freddy Krueger. Like, yeah, this guy's going to come and get you in your dreams, which is an interesting turn. But like Scott Derrickson doing his first sequel. All right, let's go. But The Black Phone was good. It was freaky. Ethan Hawke, obviously, really good in that movie as the grabber. But this looks like taking a horror sequel concept and using what you did in the first film to cleverly justify doing this in the second one, right? Like the phone, the ghosts, the afterlife. Yeah, what if that did pass on to the killer as well as the kids, you know? So this is a very interesting concept, and I like that it's not going to be a ghost story quite like the first one. It's going to be kind of more of a slasher, Freddy Krueger killer type deal, and this looks freaky. Like, this movie looks scary. So I like it that there's going to be, like, again, the rules are so open that the horror can come from a lot of directions. And yeah, I want to see this. I think we might end the year off with one more good horror breakout.
What a great year for horror movies. I mean, really, like, there have been just so many good, and there's really been like this, you know, good argument to be made over which, like, for me, it's Sinners, which I don't even know if you can qualify as a horror movie at the end of the day. I mean, it has vampires in it, but like Weapons, so many other things. But I also really dug the first Black Phone. I thought it was a neat little more self-contained movie. I mean, Sinister was amazing. Scott Derrickson has such
Sinister
a good,
gets better and better every time.
Yeah, and so I'm anxious. This is for me, this is such a weird thing in terms of just making what's the villains? Like, I know it's Ethan Hawke, but like
his name is the Grabber.
The Grabber. Yeah. So like having him be a Freddy Krueger like character is kind of an interesting take. So I'm anxious to see how Derrickson kind of tackles this. But yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, that's it for that movie. We are going to talk about a couple more. Aziz Ansari is releasing his directorial debut called Good Fortune. You've probably seen it. It has Keanu Reeves as an angel who becomes disgruntled. This movie looks cute. It looks funny.
This is my most excited of the whole list. I'm most excited for this.
And yeah, it's basically Aziz Ansari switches lives with a tech bro CEO played by Seth Rogen. And gets his life, and it's all about money and material and spirituality, but it's Aziz Ansari, and there's a cynical kind of take on it, where like Keanu Reeves is the angel trying to espouse like, oh, you know, richness is in, you know, your spirituality and your heart and, you know, all this stuff. And then he gets more and more cynical, like as things go on, because Aziz Ansari's character's having this great life with all this money, and he can't like convince him otherwise. And like, there's that one line, he's like, we're smoking this cigarette. He's like, what does he say? Like, Brenda, he's like, leave me alone. Let me have this. This is all I have. Yeah, as an angel. Like the visuals, the ironic humor. This looks like it's going to be a breakout kind of directorial debut from Aziz Ansari. Because it just is charming, it's cute, and like perfectly casting Keanu in that role is
even the
like everything
sequence when he's like, I have a budget angel. I have a budget angel. He's like, I really only save people from texting and driving.
Yeah.
You're not my full-time gig. It's like, oh my God.
So good.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. For animation fans, Roald Dahl will get in, like he's getting a star-studded adaptation animated of The Twits that Roald Dahl book or story is getting one for Netflix. It has like Scarlett Johansson, some other people in it, so keep an eye out for
I
that
love the
in
style on
October.
that. Looks great.
Similarly, Netflix is bringing back Catherine Bigelow for a political espionage thriller with Rebecca Ferguson, which is something I want to see, is Ferguson and Bigelow. That's called A House of Dynamite, and that'll be on Netflix also. I did a really poor job getting these dates in here. In October, Frankenstein, Guillermo del Toro. We will be getting a new Frankenstein, and we've heard some of the reactions from screenings from that have been pretty good, with Oscar Isaac as Dr. Frankenstein and Jacob Elordi as the monster, Frankenstein's monster. And we've heard some pretty crazy things about that. And Guillermo del Toro creature feature, I'm all about it. You guys.
I mean, 100%. 100%.
After Shape of Water, there's just a couple hopes I have for this movie that don't happen,
This is the movie that Guillermo del Toro was born to make. I mean, he is so in love with Frankenstein. Aside from this and me waiting.
But again, I hope not too in love with Frankenstein, because
he's maybe a little bit too in love with Frankenstein.
Yeah.
But who doesn't love Frankenstein?
I don't need any. We don't need to go full Saltburn with this monster doctor relationship.
We do not need to go full Saltburn. But
The Shape of Water has an Oscar. Like, just stop and think for a minute.
That's hardly Saltburn.
But I'm saying, what I'm saying about like the Frankenstein monsters, Guillermo. You don't know where this could go. It could go a lot of places.
That's true. I think that aside from this, aside from him being born to make Frankenstein, I'm also waiting for his eventual Mountains of Madness, the H.P. Lovecraft Cthulhu movie he's been trying to make for his entire life. But I will take this in the meantime. I think that it looks absolutely amazing. Really seems like he's sticking to Mary Shelley's original take on this and everything. But yeah, kind of easily one of my top most anticipated on the of this year, aside from the next thing that we're going to talk about.
Yeah, this next one is my most anticipated, and that is Predator: Badlands. Sci-fi horror. Alien Earth has been cooking. I can't wait for this movie to come out. I want to see this Predator movie where it puts a Predator as the protagonist for the first time. This already looks like it's going to be a good time. Dan Trachtenberg hasn't been missing. And just from our Yacha protagonist character to pairing it with Elle Fanning's android and making the worlds of Alien and Predator kind of connect in this very organic way, and making this kind of like a weird buddy comedy movie. Like, all of this is so crazy, it shouldn't work, but Dan Trachtenberg's imagination is kind of like that, and putting these pieces together. And there's already like this weirdly deep Shakespearean story to this Predator character who's trying to get back at his dad for, all these things. We learned about this in Comic-Con, how the movie opens with him and his brother in training, and the dad is, pretty militant about how much of a man he needs to be. And, the brother tries to stand up for him, and that causes this huge family conflict. So I'm like, there's already stakes, there's already interest, and the way this is filmed, and like I said, the way it looks, I think this is going to be something special and exciting. So I want to see this.
Trachtenberg, it's like Trachtenberg has yet to miss. Prey was amazing. Killer of Killers was amazing. Please make that eventual Alien versus Predator, because I really need a good one of those movies.
Yeah, we all do.
I've been waiting so long.
I mean, I hear in the comments from Yash that we could have done Predator in another setting, but we've done kind of period piece Predator, and I think we'll do more of that. I mean, Killer of Killers was 3 period piece stories, and that's available on stream on Hulu. I just rewatched that, and it's great. I like that we're taking this direction. It's new, it's different, and I like where we're going to this planet that is dangerous for a predator. That's interesting, and that's the kind of sci-fi I want to see. So I'm sticking with my excitement for this. I know you all are so psyched for Now You See Me, Now You Don't. The 4 Horsemen are back, baby. Yeah, we're gonna finish off that series, which is always cute, funny, man.
Yeah,
it's
charming.
Dave Franco, Woody Harrelson, and the rest, all coming back together. And the 4 Horsemen, magicians as superheroes, is something we, again, shouldn't have worked, but the 2010s were a wild time, and it's good. Just like just take your little victory lap and Ocean's 13 this whole thing and have some fun and finish this off. And it looks like they did just that. So I know there are actually people who are going to be psyched. People like this, like this has real fans, this series.
Yeah, my friend is one of them. She's like losing her mind at the movie theater before Superman, and I was like, "Are you serious? Really?" Like, she's
no,
like,
people love this
thing. I was like,
this is like one of those syndicated things too for a whole generation of people.
Yeah,
like, this is one of those things you catch on like streaming or syndicated TV like all the time. Like, and you're like, "Oh, I know that person. Oh, it's Woody Harrelson. Oh, whoa, what is this movie? Cool, The Four Horsemen. Oh, this movie's so deep. They have a twist at the end. Like, yeah." Anyway, the movie I also want to see, Edgar Wright's going to be back for a remake of another Stephen King movie that we're getting this year, After the Long Walk. So we had a long walk, but the movie walked so this movie could run, and it is The Running Man remake.
If he doesn't do the Running Man dance move at some point in this film, I will be very upset.
I'd be surprised if Glenn Powell did not have the presence of mind to throw a Running Man.
He better.
Like dance moment into
this. This is also one of my most anticipated, by the way.
Yeah, this looks like a good time. Like this just looks like a good Edgar. This was like talk about movies directors were born to make. This looks like the film that Edgar Wright was born to make, because yeah, it's just going to be a balls to the wall manhunt, action to action to action, stop for a quiet scene, but just this guy trying to stay alive with the whole world on his back. Trying to kill him is going to be interesting. And like I said, Glenn Powell's a star. You also got Josh Brolin, Coleman Domingo, Lee Pace, like Michael Cera, William H. Macy, like Amelia Jones from like Coda, who's currently on that HBO show Task. This cast is going to be pretty stacked, and the action and the Edgar Wright Baby Driver, Scott Pilgrim, kinetic, hyper, thing that he does, ADHD movie making, is perfect for this. So, and there are already sequences. My son, we were in the movie theater seeing Superman, and he saw the thing where Michael Cera in this electrified floor and the water gun. He just looked at me with his eyes wide. I was like, don't get any ideas. Stop. Just stop. But, yeah. So I want to see that. Clearly, I'm excited for The Running Man. Matt, you want to take the next one?
No,
the next two.
Ruben, these last three, because I added one little mention on the end. These last three are the ones I'm actually the most excited for. So we're start though. Wicked for Good is coming. I'm so excited. That is hitting on November 21st. I feel like at this point, I've seen this movie at least 5 or 6 times in this house, and now the tunes have made it to Ember. Like Ember's singing songs from the thing, and she's like, "Oh, that's from Wicked." And there's Glenda merchandise in this house. So yes, I am so the fact that they're building this too, like that. This is actually going to have so much emotional impact for our two kind of main characters and the real life friendship that they've formed, that they forged off screen, and like that has just made this like even more of an event. I'm super hyped for this. I can't wait for Wicked for Good. I think it's going to surpass what the first one did as far as box office too, which was already pretty impressive.
Yeah, they're already talking about on the Felda actress. I'm blanking on her name right now.
Cynthia
Erivo.
Yeah.
Oscar talk, but I think Ariana Grande is going to surprise a lot of people and be in that consideration as well. Like I think she almost was there in the first one because I was in some of those critics conversations, and I think for this one she really might be able to kind of really.
She's magnificent in this role. And I know the person, I can't remember, I'm blanking on her name right now, but they were talking about like who almost got the role. And they would have been great too.
It was a girl from Mamma Mia, right?
Yeah, like I'm blanking on who it was.
Amanda Seyfried?
I think so, wasn't it?
I think it was it might have been her. And like they would have been great, but like after seeing what she, did with the role, and also shout out to Kristen Chenoweth, who was amazing as well. But for this, like I can't see anyone else playing this version. Like Ariana's just fantastic in this.
Yeah, no. And when she says like that line about the whole, I've had so many friends, like, girls, like she's doing good acting. Like she's really dipped in her bag for this. and kind of disappeared into this, like to the point where you now see more Glinda
Right.
off screen than Ariana Grande. So
yeah.
you know,
True.
I think, my kids are really excited for this. I like that it's to kind of be like an interquel with we're fitting in the Wizard of Oz and the more iconic things people will recognize too. So yeah, I think this will be bigger than the first one. So, all right, what's the next thing you're excited for?
Yo, Zootopia 2. Zootopia is finally back. I mean, we did get the Disney Plus kind of series there, which is great. But this has been one of those. I feel like this is going to be a Moana type sleeper thing. I remember when Moana 2 was coming. People were excited about it as far as media goes and things, but I saw a real lack of like big energy before the box office just shattered all expectations. All I saw was like, man, we didn't expect it to do that good. And it just, you all of a sudden discovered like, oh man, there's a ton of Moana fans out there that have been waiting for this. Zootopia, I don't know if it'll be on Moana 2 level, but there are a ton of Zootopia fans that have been waiting for a long time for this movie, and they're going to hit those theaters multiple times with kids. It's gonna do big numbers, I think, but also like it's become a beloved property kind of under the radar. I am excited for this. This is like appointment viewing. I will be there at the theater day one for this one.
Right. Yeah, me too. I mean, I'm in it. I'm in it to win it. My daughter watched that a million times. And I was shocked by your last pick.
Okay.
That you threw this
I don't
in
even
here.
know what this is.
I have to give
crazy trailer.
I have to give full credit to my wife. So Anissa is a huge fan of the book series. Frida McFadden is the author of the books, and she's read almost all of them. She has a new one coming out in like a month or whatever. So like she's into them. And so I've become a fan vicariously through her because she'll like tell me about the stories, and then I've like started to like dabble as well. Housemaid is like one of the ones that was like huge in the books and was kind of like really put this series on the map. There's multiples of these. I think there's 3. I think there's 3. But this, so I know the twists and turns and things that happen in the movie, so it's cool to like see what they're doing with it, and they knocked out of the park. Like Amanda Seyfried is amazing in this trailer, and I really can't wait to see what she does in this full movie. I'm stoked for this. We're gonna go see this in the theater because I am excited for this, and I did not see that coming a year and a half ago, but here we are.
Yeah, this is The Housemaid. The new trailer that dropped this week is The Housemaid. It's the new kind of psychological thriller based on Frida McFadden's book that stars Amanda Seyfried, Sydney Sweeney, and Brandon Sklaner, the guy who most people think might be DCU Batman. And it's about Sydney Sweeney playing a girl who comes to work at this wealthy couple's house as a housemaid. And of course, her and the wife start to get into some weird psycho, slightly possibly
there's lots
sexual,
of twists there. Lots of twists.
Slightly psychosexual things, and the wife might be nuts, the housemaid might be nuts, the husband might be nuts, everybody might be nuts. Like, and somebody's gonna probably die. So, and so they dropped this trailer this week. I was joking; it was White Lady the trailer. But it very much was just like, because it's just Sydney Sweeney and Amanda Seyfried like having blonde arguments for like 3 minutes, and Brandon Sklaner coming in and being like, like, and being like, so it was a weird trailer, but apparently this is going to be huge, and Matt's going to be all over it. So
we're gonna see it. We're gonna go see it.
All right. I like a good I grew up in the Adrian Lynn era of film, so I like a good psychosexual thriller. So I will probably see this as well. I mean, I'm watching The Girlfriend on Amazon, so yeah, I don't know. But that was a weird thing that I purposely skipped over that. I was like, that's not really in our wheelhouse, but here comes Matt at the end. All right.
Well, neither is Keanu Reeves as an angel.
Oh, that is definitely not in our wheelhouse.
That is not in our wheelhouse.
Anything Keanu Reeves is in our wheelhouse.
All right, let's move on. We got to get through the rest of this show without getting derailed. Let's talk about what's on the small screen. Gen V is back. So Gen V is back. We got a 3-episode launch from Amazon for season 2, picking up both the threads. And let's just be upfront, Gen Z season 2 had a complicated thing to do. They had to pick up the threads of the first season. They had to integrate all of the kind of story elements of the last season of The Boys. I forget if it's 4 or 5, what season that was. It was 4, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, The Boys season 4. And of course, we also had to kind of pay homage and narratively deal with the death of series star Chance Perdomo, who tragically passed away in a motorcycle accident, and played Andre Anderson, one of the main characters of the show. So had to deal with a real life death, pick up from the first season, tie in with The Boys and everything that just happened in The Boys and everything that's about to happen in The Boys. So yeah, that's not an easy thing to do. And in these first 3 episodes, which I don't think are perfect by any means, I think they did an admirable enough job of doing all 3 of those. I found some of the slowest parts to be the parts where the cast is obviously letting the actors kind of work out their grief and their feelings about Chance, obviously dressed up as narrative moments for the characters, but you needed to do that. So I'm not mad at that, because we do have to acknowledge that this show just lost a major lead, and that's always an awkward thing. But I did like the unexpected flip of resetting the status quo and putting them back in school in these very kind of different contexts now, and forcing them to go through the motions, knowing what they know. I liked there were some very highlight scenes, like this battle with the Thor guy was great, and some other sequences in this. But yeah, I'm worried. I'm a little worried this could get muddled this season. I think Hamish Linklater and this whole thing with his cipher, I think, is going to be a big hinge on whether we have like an exciting antagonist in this or not. I think we need to know more about him. But yeah, I still think this series does not have any business being as good as it is, and I like how they've tied in Marie and like what she's all about and why she's important to this show. Yeah, so it was good to be back in the world of The Boys for me. What did you guys think?
I thought so. I was a really big fan of the first season. I thought it was like arguably, for me anyway, I thought it was arguably better than The Boys itself. I really dug like the concept and Godolphin University. And in a way, like, I don't know what it is specifically, but I felt that the second season, from what we've seen so far, was kind of a little lacking in terms of it. I don't know if it's just more the fact that this felt more like a sequel to the events of The Boys season 4 rather than a sequel to Gen V season 1. But that's just kind of the general. Maybe it's the fact that it doesn't necessarily have as big of an interesting mystery hook this time around. I don't know. Like, I still think it's good. It's still funny. I still got like laugh at it and enjoy it. But so far, it hasn't hit the same way that season 1 did. That being said, I did love the fake Wolverine guy that they had in the I thought that guy was hilarious. He did a fantastic job of portraying the Boys universe version of Hugh Jackman in this. I thought he was great. But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna watch obviously the rest of the season, but yeah, for the time being, I think it, the first season set up a lot of stuff, and it hasn't been able to hit that same height for me.
Fair enough. Matt, Janelle, what do you guys think?
I agree. I think it's maybe just because I've been feeling like Peacemaker and Alien Earth so much that it's just hard to follow up with anything. I'm not saying I don't like it at all or that I'm not going to continue watching. It's just the hype level's not there, as we were discussing earlier. I don't feel like excited about next week's episode in the same way that I'm thrilled for like what's going to happen next in the other shows that I'm watching.
Oh,
okay.
So I feel like I'm more along the lines of you, Kofi. I really dig this. I thought they had a tall task to balance so many things And I mean, because that's just, when real life tragedy happens, right? And especially when it did, and they've already got plans figured out. So the way they worked that in, and then I feel like still moved things forward, thought was pretty impressive. And so, factoring that in, I really enjoyed it. I mean, it's still, to me, I've probably getting to the point where, unless like season 5 just really kind of finds that like perfect balance, I've probably kind of shifted over now to where I'm more enthusiastic about Gen V than I am the boys. Just kind of like the boys just kind of hit a wall for me as far as some certain things.
I totally agree.
So
I'm
yeah,
kind
like
of over it. Yeah.
I'm probably like, I love the mix of characters here. I love Dean Cypher. So like, I think that character like is a big part of why I'm really excited about this season in particular. I just really think that character really, I mean, obviously it's topical, but also like, he mixes things up in a really interesting way. So I dug this. And I'm excited for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I mean, I think there is something to be said about the boys universe beginning to be exhausted on its own kind of, I don't know how to describe it. It's the energy of the boys like is getting to be like, now when I'm just like, and whenever I see
Exhausting.
like it's just, it doesn't hit. It's kind of when a show begins to eat itself on its own hype. You know what I mean? When it
Mhm.
becomes, and every comedy show does this eventually and has to find its way back out. The boys, unfortunately, we're not going to take the time to do that. But something like It's Always Sunny is a good example of them now kind of getting back to fresher comedic ideas in these like advanced seasons, where somewhere around like 10 through 13, let's say, it became a show where every season they were just doing It's Always Sunny, like what they knew the characters to be, the more outrageous stuff, saying the most outrageous stuff. And it begins to lose purpose. It's just it becomes like a meme. It's for its own sake. Like now, like every boy season has to have somebody crawling in and out of somebody's butt, right? And it's just like the first time we saw that, we were like, oh my God, it was like a huge talking point. I saw it in this like string of episodes, and I'm just like, next scene. Like, yeah, cool. And it's just like, you're gonna see somebody's mangled or huge elongated dong. Like there's going to be these things that are just done in the show. And it's just like, yeah, at one point, this was that first scene in the first season of The Boys when they go to the superhero club and you see how the superheroes are really behaving and using their powers behind closed doors. Is shocking, right? By now, it's just been done and overdone and redone and done to such extremes. We've had rooms explode with blood and cum and all. We've done it all. Like, and it's just like throwing these in there now. It's just the boys being like, "Hey, we're the boys. We can do this." And it's like, yes, but can you also tell me like a compelling story? Like I did the scene and all the CGI and the actors to make that guy come out of the other guy's butt was just, why? Like we didn't need that aside. So
just
yeah,
why?
or just like some of the things they do with the shrinking girl and like all that stuff. Like we don't, like, it's just, it gets weird and gross for now, but it's for like the sake of being the boys and being weird and gross more so than a story element. And so I think Gen V season 2 kind of feels a little bit like that. Like they're just, hey, we were successful. Now we're here. We're established. Now we can just play and be the boys, in the boys universe. And it's kind of felt a little bit like that. But I do think, like I said, Hamish Linklater is a good actor. And like you throw him on screen, you never know what he's going to do or how he's going to shake it up. And Cypher's interesting. And I think the larger scheme that's going on around them and will fit back into the boys is interesting. So I'm going to be here every week, but I think I agree with Janelle. Like, in a week where it's like my 3 shows right now are this, Alien Earth, and Peacemaker, this is going to always be the third watch. And I'm not saying that with any shade. It just is.
Yeah, right. Yeah, of course.
All right. So let's talk about Alien Earth and Peacemaker real quick. No need to spend too much time on either. We're doing like a lot of transitional episodes, arrangement episodes. Alien Earth, I just have one question. Do you guys feel like this show jumped the shark by having Wendy go rogue and use a xenomorph to start murdering people. Do you think that jumps the shark, or is that an intriguing twist for you? There's the alien Reddit, which is a very weird place. Y'all are weird, but it's been an interesting debate, and so I'm kind of interested on.
I don't know.
where you
I'm
guys
about
are
it. I love it. I think it's awesome. I wish she would have ended the episode doing it again. I don't know. It's kind of, obviously it's scary for humanity, but clearly Alien's smart. Maybe she can like teach there's good people and bad people. I don't know.
I thought it was interesting because I think Noah Hawley's done a good job of subtly but surely keeping the hybrids as the protagonists of this show and keeping them at the forefront. And there has been, if you look back, and I started going back and watching again, there is every episode they do this thing where they subtly increase the maturity level of these kids. Like they're aging as they're hybrids. In every episode, they get a little bit older because of the things they're exposed to or have to do. And so, yeah, this was teenage rebellion, right? This is the age where they've gotten to that teenage, younger adult age. They're realizing their parents lied to them. The world isn't what it's supposed to be. And they're kind of bugging out. And this is her kind of taking her own agency when she realizes nibs, and they can be mind wiped. They can be controlled. They can be all these things. Like, yeah, she takes her own agency in her hands. And I think that's interesting because there's always been this also interplay between the machine characters in the show, like Morrow and Kirsch on that elevator scene, which is like one of my favorite scenes in the show. But Kirsch, who's been interesting this whole time, you find out in this episode, like, yeah, he's in on it, and he's not exactly playing for Boyd Cavalier's team when he sees, which is one of my favorite twists, when he finds them in the hallway, and he's like, what are you doing going this way? Like, you gotta go this way. Like, and he gets them out of there. But yeah, it seems like the machines haven't been just sitting here wanting to be controlled. Like, they have their own ideas about their own agency. And comparing that to the xenomorphs and all that is very interesting. So it's been interesting to me, but some people have been flipping out about it. Like if you check the chat, you have some people saying this show is so stupid. Yeah.
How did they say?
This show is so stupid. All right. But I was interested to think. I'm set up for one hell of a finale. That was an intense ending to this episode where somebody's nibs ripping off somebody's face. And then, getting blasted out herself. So I've been highly intrigued by Alien Earth. Season 2 is already kind of confirmed. And yeah, so we know this isn't the end. But yeah, will they be able to land the plane? I mean, I can sit here in front like I don't know, but I do know. So what do you guys?
What are you teasing? What are you teasing over there? You've seen it. He knows.
Yeah.
He has the knowledge.
You guys think they'll land the plane? I'm taking bets.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, there it is.
And I like that. And by the way, I
Peacemaker.
like that stuff. I like when you take chances with that. I dug that whole sequence.
No,
I
I
like that stuff. Yeah. Don't.
All right, Peacemaker. Like I said, Peacemaker episode was interesting. We got that whole thing with him and Harcourt and a little action sequence in the beginning, but this Evan's back.
He finally went and did the thing that we were waiting the whole entire season for him to do that we knew was going to be done.
Which is that?
Go over to the other dimension and
yeah. This was obviously the end of the first arc of the season and the beginning.
But I'm not mad at it. Like it was but I loved
fine.
it.
It was a fine episode. It was just like Peacemaker is weird because it's never this thing that I'm like rushing, like, oh my God, I got to turn it on. But like, I know I'm going to watch it. But when I turn it on for the hour that I'm watching it, like I am deeply immersed in the world and characters of Peacemaker and I'm involved and care about them. But obviously, yeah, this was the episode to kind of move everybody and to convince Chris and push him to I'm leaving this world and I'm going to go to the next world. I think this show is doing a very interesting psyop on us all about why we don't realize what this universe is initially and why we don't question that initially and how we've been conditioned like that. But yeah, this was an episode where Rick Flag, we got to see Frank Grillo really do his thing and kind of dig into his character. and for him to also realize what we've all known since the very beginning of the show, which it is impossible to be next to Saul Rodriguez for too long without, at least trying to shoot your shot. Good for you, Rick Flag. Yeah, and that's it. That's all I got for Peacemaker.
It's a good show.
Yeah, it's great.
Not my favorite episode, but again, it got us to point A to point B. It got us there. We're there now. We can now tackle the other thing that we've been waiting for, which is, hey, what's this world really about? And we had to have this moment to get there. Now we're there. So I am happy we're there. So but I agree with you, by the way, Kofi. This is also this is a show that this is not at the top of my viewing list. But every time I watch it, I leave and I'm like, oh, that was great. it's always good.
I do to the Eagly reveal, which I thought was so funny. That was so good without spoiling anything.
Poor Michael Rooker.
Poor Michael Rooker.
He always gets the worst deaths. And
he's good in everything. Yeah. Doesn't matter what he does. He's just great.
Yeah, Rooker's nuts. All right. We want to get into comics this week. We want to talk about our little crossover comic of the week.
Yeah. Let's do it. A long time coming. It's been a long time since we've had a crossover between the big two. Time. Shouldn't have left you without a dope beat. Step two. There's your Aaliyah Timberland moment right there. Yeah. This is a Marvel DC are doing a big crossover, and the kickoff is taking two of their most mainstream characters. I feel like that's safe to say, in Deadpool and Batman. But really, that's the first part of this book, because that's the main story. But then we get four. Actually, is it 5 or 4? It's 5. We get 5 other stories throughout that are kind of some of these other dream team ups. We have Captain America and Wonder Woman, Jeff and Crypto, Daredevil and Green Arrow, Rocket Raccoon and Green Lantern, and Old Man Logan and Batman. Sorry, 6. And then there's also a Lobo story at the end. So you get all of those stories, but first you get this big kind of quintessential Deadpool story, and I thought just kind of going here, obviously we are going to get into spoilers for this, but that first story, I want to make sure I get the team right. Zeb Wells, Greg Capullo, Tim Townsend, and Alex Sinclair, with Clayton Cowles on lettering. This what did you I'm very curious, what did you guys think? Because Janelle, we've never covered a Marvel DC crossover, and Kofi, I don't believe we've ever covered one of these on the show, because that came right after. I think they had done one 2 years before the show started, and then
we did Batman Spawn. We did Batman Spawn at one point.
Yeah. Oh, okay, so we did Image. Okay, so we did Image, but we've never done one with the two. Marvel
Batman
and DC.
And Deadpool, or no, Marvel and Deadpool.
Yeah, nah. Marvel and DC in general. We haven't done one. I don't think we've done one of these on the show. So this is a big deal. What did you guys think? Did they land the plane for the initial launch here, or were you left unsatisfied? What are you feeling?
I mean, I was stoked. I was this is so freaking awesome, especially the Batman one. Obviously there are certain segments of this that I was I don't really like that one story, but for overall, yes, as me reading for the first time, seeing this collaborative moment was huge, and I was so impressed and excited. And the Deadpool Batman was just so fun. I loved that interaction, because he's so cold, and Bruce is so cold, and Batman's so stern, and Deadpool is just silly, and I loved it. It's just silly.
It was also nice seeing Greg Capullo pencils on Batman again. Not gonna lie, that was I was like, oh yeah, this is feels right. This is, I know. Look, he's been doing great Marvel work, but this feels great. I love Greg Capullo on Batman. Kofi, what'd you think?
I mean, Deadpool's kind of real strength is being able to be a comedic, a stand-up comedic critique of other comic book characters and tropes. That's kind of what his use
Yeah.
is. And they quite literally put him to that use in this. And so that was hilarious. And I think these crossovers work if somebody understands the finer points of both characters and can make them gel well. And I think they did that really well here. Like, it's wordy, but it's wordy because it's banter, and it's good banter. Like, Deadpool just coming in and being like, you already know all the jokes. You probably know all the jokes I could make about you in this Rob thing, right? And being like, Batman just giving him a look and him being like, okay, cool. We can move right along past that. But then still throughout the book, just saying something like right before he saves the day, being like, one of your taught young boys couldn't do that. Like, yeah, something like that. Bring it back to that. Was really well done. So that was it. I mean, that was the main story I came to read. The Daredevil Green Arrow one was interesting. I know you were just all about the Jeff Shark crypto crap. I know, Matt.
This is fantastic.
Yeah.
also, quick shout out to the Wonder Woman, Captain America, because I love Terry Dodson. Okay, so Terry Dodson artwork on Wonder Woman was a flashback to an awesome time. I love that run. And then also that was Chip, right? Was that Chip Zdarsky writing?
Yeah, that was Chip.
That
was
Chip
Zdarsky.
Okay,
doing that one.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Also, I gotta say, one of the scenes in that Batman Deadpool one that I loved, and I wouldn't have pegged that as like, oh, this is going to be like one of my favorite scenes of the book, is the whole Commissioner Gordon sequence. There's a whole, honestly, debatedly, you could say that Gordon has the best zinger of the entire book when he says, when Deadpool's like, you sound like my dad, and he's like, bet I've got as much time for you too. I was like, ow, that's crazy. that comes from Gordon, right? That's nuts. So yeah, there's a couple of great one-liners in that really shine, and even just some of the Joker stuff that happens between Wade and Joker is great. So yeah, very much.
Well, that's the thing. They up the ante by just doing not only Batman and Deadpool back and forth, but Batman, Joker, and Deadpool trifecta. That was a big swing, and I thought they nailed that really well.
Yeah, Evan.
I had to bring up my favorite joke, which was Deadpool going, "The Man Wonder gets shotgun," or whatever.
Oh yeah, when he comes out of the bomb, yeah.
The fact that he calls himself the Man Wonder, oh man, that killed me when I did it. But I would be remiss if I also didn't like. I really thought the Deadpool Batman story was great in and of itself, but like, there was something so heartwarming and touching about the Captain America Wonder Woman one that really made it like my favorite, which was just like how Diana and Steve are like perfect mirrors of each other, and how they meet each other in different universes, which was like something I had never even considered before. But they did this, Chip Zdarsky and Terry Dodson, they did such a good job in terms of, they gave us everything that you could want in one of these crossovers in terms of like smashing these two universes together, rewriting history, and creating like these amazing scenes where Wonder Woman pulls Steve back from the brink. Steve pulls Wonder Woman back from the brink. And they're able to play off one another so well in such a limited amount of time. I don't know, that story was like 8 pages long or something crazy like that. And it was just such a good, that was really my standout, even though like I did enjoy, for the most part, I enjoyed all of these. I wish the logo one was a little bit longer, but like
same.
It was a nice fun little thing to do.
And I saw it mentioned in the chat, and it goes back to that, that previous Marvel DC crossover where we had the characters. And it's funny, at that time we had Batman versus Cap. That's who they placed against each other. And if you were to do that today, and especially after that story, I think Wonder Woman and Cap is a much actually more accurate pairing. I think they would be the two characters that actually kind of feel more like, oh, they belong in that same space, especially after like Tom King's run and what we've seen in Absolute Wonder Woman, like much better mirrors of each other than Cap and Batman. And so like, it would also be interesting because like the last time around we had Lobo versus Wolverine. I think that might change too. There's a couple in there. We had Shazam versus Thor. There's a lot of interesting matchups.
Can I also say that, like, to this day, that Marvel versus DC Lobo versus Wolverine thing still burns me up because it was a popular, for those who don't know, the original Marvel versus DC long 4-issue comic book series was based on, it was a popularity
Yeah, it was
contest.
votes.
And it was based on votes. So whoever voted, and I swear, the writers could not figure out how Wolverine would beat Lobo because it would be impossible. There's no way that Wolverine, so they just fall behind a bar and Wolverine gets up and they never reveal how it happened. And to this day, that's still like, yo, you couldn't have taken 2 more seconds to do it.
Yeah, it's lame. It's lame.
All right. Matt, you want to close us out with your agenda?
Yeah. So I've got I'm always excited to talk Toothless with How to Train Your Dragon, now out, right? It's now out for streaming and everything. I had to bring along my little buddy here. This is the Spin Master Tame Toothless interactive toy here, and I'm excited for him because he's awesome, but he gets better because he actually interacts with you in multiple. He has like multiple moods, and he has IR sensors that are up front. And if you actually you can actually pet him, and he'll make noises. And then you can also, one of my favorite things to do is actually feed this guy. So if you hold it here, he actually sniffs. And if I can get this right here, let's see. Oh, one more. Give me one more. There you go. No! He'll spit it out. That's fantastic. That is brilliant. Also, if you go ahead and take off, he'll actually start to expand his wings, pop out, and then you can actually tap him and he'll shoot a plasma blast. It's awesome. He makes all these kinds of little sounds. He has 5 different moods. So he can be irritated. He can be like sleepy. He can be a little moody. And then you can just kind of pet him. You have to actually train and kind of over time, he earns your trust. Really cool. I gotta say, like some of the Toothless specific things. Here's the thing: these are my toys, and Ember steals them.
Oh, yeah.
half the things on my shelf are now gone. There's a whole shelf I don't even show on camera because it's been wrecked by Ember's like constant oh, I want to play with that one. I want to play with that one. So yeah, but this is really cool. Thank you, Spin Master, for
sound like Will Ferrell in the Lego movie.
That she took my toys. How dare you? But it's really cool. So this is the Tame and Train interactive Toothless. Thank you to Spin Master for sending that over. I wanted to give it a shout out because look, I've seen a lot of various Toothless toys, and there's some really cool ones out there. This is one of them. She's been playing with this nonstop since I brought it out, so it will end up in her room pretty soon. But I wanted to give it a shout here. Also, and this is for Kofi too, because I know I talked previously about jumping back in to Marvel Rivals. I was going to jump back in season 4. I took a little break with 3.5. I missed out on Blade completely, so I had to go back in and train with him because I was in New Baby Land and didn't get a chance. Now I caught up. And now we got Angela, who is the new Vanguard. I'm a primarily Vanguard strategist player anyway. My main is Magneto for the most part, right? Or Invisible Woman. But having a flying Vanguard, like a constant flying Vanguard that has a shield and then also has 2 weapons, like alternate weapons, and they really feel different, and being able to hit the ground. I am loving her. I've started playing her constantly. Oh, okay. Well, I was gonna ask, how are you feeling?
Because every time now I'm sitting there, someone just swoops in, and all of a sudden I'm getting carried away on some spear, and I'm like, get off me. Yeah, she just grabs you, flies away with you on a spear. You're like, what? Then throws you down, hacks you, takes 2 axes to your head. You're like, what? Yeah, then you're trying to blast her. She could shield. I mean, it's good. I haven't jumped into using her yet because I've still been on my Phoenix Blade Mastery run.
I did try out Blade, and I went with your leading with the gun first instead of sword. The gun is monster. That is crazy.
You always run in with a gun first, and then after you've softened them up, you start life draining them with that vampire sword, and you just start. And once you start going hyper full daywalker speed, just cutting through everybody, you have to circle them. That's the key. Circle them. They can't touch you. Just circle, slice, circle, slice, circle, slice. 1,000 cuts. Yeah.
See, we got ticks
I get
on
my
this show.
I got my most. I have my most MVPs with Blade. Like, yeah, Blade's been nuts.
We're gonna have to get a group together because I don't know if you guys play comp, but I was actually doing some comp rising through the ranks last night, and I was just hurling obscenities as my teammates were laying me down. I'm a thing main, by the way.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, that big. I mean, they gave him, now that you can leap up and even get the flying villains. Like things nasty now. It's kind of nasty,
that's the big difference is that he can.
By the way, Evan is the reason I don't play comp.
Oh, the thing? Oh,
Evan, no, not the thing. Evan hurling obscenities at his teammates.
that specifically.
That's
dude,
why
I got so angry last time.
I get so. I mean, yeah, Marvel Rivals will make you angry, bro. Like, yeah, it's like, why are you guys still running down the same path when you know you can't smash? Yeah, but like,
I need heals.
Every level has a left, right, and center path to the point. Like, if you keep getting slaughtered in the middle, stop running down the middle. They have you. Like, go around the sides. Everybody flank. Like, do something. Anyway, we are way off topic. Janelle's just sitting here, like, sleeping.
We were on topic. That's perfect. So definitely, I am playing Rivals. I am jumping back in. I am loving her. Daredevil is up next, obviously, as the next hero. I'm very curious to see what they do with him. Moving over to wrestling. So I saw in the chat, yes, this is nerding. I will be at WrestlePalooza. That happens tomorrow. Actually, I will hopefully be talking to some people later today as well. So excited about that. Also, the same day, AEW All Out is also happening. So Saturday is going to be just wrestling all day. Also had the chance to talk to some awesome people with AEW as well. So those will be rolling to comic book sooner than later. And for those, look, so many matches on both cards. There's going to be a lot. There's going to be something for every fan, but just a couple of keys I wanted to highlight. WrestlePalooza is the now heavily hyped, and rightfully so, CM Punk and AJ Lee team up versus Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch. Those have been some of my favorite segments on Raw recently. I've been loving what they've been doing there. AJ Lee returning after 10 years away and looking like she just left last week. It's crazy. It's insane. Also, John Cena versus Brock Lesnar is going to be an interesting one from a story place. I don't know where they're going to take that after, if we're going to get Cena's next opponent. Remember, he only has, I think at this point, 6 more dates for his farewell tour. So we are wrapping up. And then honestly, what will probably end up being the best match of the night is going to be Stephanie Vaquer versus Io Sky. That's going to kill. It's going to be an amazing match. So if you're looking for best match of the night, that's probably going to be the one, but all the other ones are going to be entertaining as well. AEW All Out. There are so many. Hangman Page versus Kyle Fletcher for the AEW World Championship is going to be supremely fun. One of the best matches of the night is probably going to be for the women's AEW World Championship in Toni Storm versus Jamie Hayter versus Chris Statlander versus Thekla. That's going to kill. That's going to be so good. We also get Hurt Syndicate versus Ricochet and the Gates of Agony, and Adam Copeland, formerly Edge, and Christian teaming up again for the first time in so long versus FTR. Again, so many other matches, but just wanted to highlight there. There's going to be some great ones. So yeah, that is pay attention to the comic book for all your wrestling needs. But that is my agenda.
All right. We want to thank our sponsor again, Global Comics. Head on over there for a library of 100,000 comics. With your gold subscription, you can read any number of comics, graphic novels from the independents to some of the big publishers, including DC, which has huge discounts on Superman, Batman books, and a bunch of other stuff right now. So head on over to Global Comics, get your subscription started, and access a world of comics. That'll do it for us this week on Comic Book Nation. Matt, Janelle, Evan, thanks for getting up with me today and talking all things geek. We will be back next week to talk about the finale of Alien Earth, the big news episode of Peacemaker. As you can see from our fall movie preview, we will also have plenty of movies to discuss in the coming weeks. Hope to see you guys again. Thank you to the chat for joining us this morning. We are Comic Book Nation. You can subscribe on all your podcast platforms, and we are on the main Comicbook.com YouTube page. All right, everybody have a good weekend. See you guys next week. Watch some football. Go Birds. Peace. I'm out.
Go Falcons.